I have no words. I have no words. Do they believe in their crap? It really is fascinating. The amount of projection that is coming out of Donald Trump. Let's just highlight the facts here. He says that a bully is the weakest person. Hot take. I guess I agree with Donald Trump. But what's really interesting is this is the same guy that has a whole Wikipedia page dedicated to name calling. When you click Donald Trump nicknames, a Wikipedia page comes up of all of the names that he's called people. It's even split up by groups. Crooked Joe, Joe Hayden, Sleepy Joe, Slow Joe, Meatball, Ron DeSanctimonious, Tiny D DeSantis. This is a guy who constantly name calls other people. So I guess in MAGA's eyes, name calling isn't bullying, or it is bullying, and your ultimate bully is saying that bullies are weak people. So Donald Trump is admitting that he's weak. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. It is so... You can't make this up, y'all. You can't make this up. Those are not insults. Those are facts. So name calling is facts. So if I call someone ugly, is that a fact then? Meatball Ron, does that make Ron an actual meatball? Does that actually make him a meatball? Listen to yourself. Stop trying to bend over backwards to justify what Donald Trump says. Seriously, think for yourself. Take up your own agency. Don't just try to bend over backwards. You're going to pull a muscle with the amount of stretching that you have to do to try and justify his words. You could consider the possibility that Donald Trump is childish and that he's wrong. And that he is, in fact, what he is claiming to condemn. A bully himself. This is the same guy that's trying to bully Canada into becoming a part of the United States. I truly don't get it. What I find so absurd about this moment is even when I try to break down other people's logic, they still don't get it. And I can't fix stupid. Is Attorney Di in here this morning? I am. Hiya. Attorney Di, hello. I don't know if you are up for this, but Attorney Di, do you want to come up and say hello? Because I want to plug you in here. For some of my friends, family in here who do not know, Attorney Di is a fantastic creator. Let me pin your comment here. If you want to come up, be a guest in the box, then just let me know. If you don't even have to be on camera, but I just want to definitely give you a little bit of space to say hello. Just 1 minute. Okay, we got it. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. So for those people who do not know, Attorney Di is an amazing creator on here. Literally goes through and educates, informs, and breaks down a lot of legal language from depositions, from lawsuits, from subpoenas, from all of these other documents. And she really has helped me with, as well as other people, trying to understand this. So definitely go and give her a follow.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fun here.
What do you think of this?
You know, I can't help but notice a trend with Mr. Trump where he says something, but it's really about him. And he does it a lot. And so I think this is another one of those moments where he's saying, oh, the bully's the weakest person. But, it's really, that's what he is. So I think that's pretty clear.
Well, let me tell you, I am not sure. I'm not sure. Look, people tell me I'm a bully, but I like to think of myself as a god, a dictator, an authoritarian. I view myself as holier than thou. I heard about this thing called trees and how they can grow money, and I am going to harvest those trees. I'm going to water those trees. Those trees are my besties. And let me tell you, people are bullying me for thinking that money grows on trees, and I just say, that's silly, that's dumb, you're a bully, and bullies are weak people, and I'm gonna name call you everything from fat, lazy, ugly, blah, 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 and that's not name calling, that's not bullying, that's just facts. That's just a fact that you are that way.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, yes.
This is the same guy that is truly trying to bully Canada into becoming a part of the United States. Like, you can't make this stuff up. You can't.
I think about that and I think to myself, like, what, what even, what? Oh my goodness gracious. You know, it's interesting, and I've mentioned this before. In the beginning, back in the old days, they asked Canada to join the United States. They were like, hey, you want to join? And Canada was like, y'all are nuts. We don't want to have anything to do with you. I mean, this is all the way back with the Declaration of Independence. They're like, you want us to put your name on the Declaration? And they're like, no, thank you. We don't want to join you because you're crazy.
I heard that the Declaration of Independence was stolen by Nicolas Cage, and that there's a treasure map on the back of it that leads to an amazing, amazing treasure. Let me tell you, that treasure is my boyfriend, lover, and amazing husband, Elon Musk. Let me tell you, his Musk is something that I revel in. I revel in it. It is delicious. It is fantastic. It is incredible. Let me tell you, I drink that musk. It's my daily vitamins. Why else do you think I look so orange? I have certain poisoning from that musk. But let me tell you, speaking of the Declaration of Independence, which is the same as the Constitution, and you're un-American if you say so.
I love it when they quote it as law. They're like, well, under the law, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, what? That's not right. What are you talking about? Oh my gosh.
Are we being pranked right now? Has this been like the longest April Fool's joke in the world history? Because like I am done being on this twisted turtle world. That is the right wing facade of. Anyway, I'm just done with it. Like I want off this ride.
I feel the same. And I didn't realize, and a part of it for me is just recognizing how lazy people are. You know, in my opinion, it is easier to be a red hatter than to actually look at the facts and use some kind of reason. It's just easier to throw it to the side. And so for me, it's like, wow, I didn't realize how many lazy people there were in the US until this happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you want to control a population, become Trump, right? I mean, all you have to do is completely marginalize certain groups of people, just constantly name call, bully, claim that certain groups of people are ruining your life, and then everyone starts loving you. All you have to do is release a whole bunch of merchandise, tell people that they're lazy, fat, ugly, all of these things, and then all of a sudden you become super popular. And then it doesn't matter how hypocritical you are. It doesn't matter if you've got the government agencies. It doesn't matter if you literally destroy and upend people's lives and cause them to lose their livelihood. That doesn't matter. But you are so right, Attorney Dive, because people are super lazy. And when we break that down, when we break that down, I understand why they are, but I don't think that they understand it. A lot of people in this country truly don't know what to believe. And it's easier to believe the person that is saying the funniest, even if it's absurd, thing. Because when people say something funny and absurd, you tend to like them.
Oh, absolutely. It's a sound bite, and people flock to those little sound bites rather than, again, taking the time to go and see what the actual story is. And I think before, people still felt the same way. I don't think the feelings have changed. I don't think we have more people that are discriminatory. I think what happened was people took the time and energy to mask it. And now they're like, I'm not going to waste my time on trying to present as someone who's not discriminatory. I'm just going to, go with the flow because everybody else is. And I think we have that situation where if your friend jumped off a bridge, would you? And everybody said, well, yeah.
Yeah. And I think at the root of it, so many people are just trying to like live and scrape by. And it's harder to be a fully informed citizen. And we rely a lot on heuristics. Heuristics, which you probably know what that is. It's just the cognitive shortcuts. Oh, look at the little bear hat. That's so cute. Thank you. The cognitive shortcuts that people have when it comes to picking up on politics. Like when you go to the voting booth and you see, okay, I'm a Democrat, so I'm going to vote for all the D's going down the line there. That's a cognitive shortcut. People will use those cognitive shortcuts to especially affirm cult-like mentality. And so they do that a lot for Donald Trump instead of thinking critically.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think too, once you get to that thinking critically and going through that analysis and recognizing that you're not really better than other people, we're all just people. I mean, that is really missing, I think, because it takes a lot. You have to really get to a point where you are looking at a group of people and saying you are less than me in order to go forward and justify where your ideology is when it comes to discrimination. And that I think is really, the basis of authoritarianism is by taking a group and saying, well, you're less than I am. And so I'm going to just go forward thinking I'm at the top of the pyramid and, everybody else is a plebe. And that's the dangerous road that we're on here because people are putting themselves in a different position other than equal to each other as peoples. And we've had a lot of problems with that in this country.
I hear problems, and I heard fudge. I want the fudge. I want the delicious, tasty, gooey, yummy in my tummy food this morning. Someone said about a croissant. I need a croissant. No, not Emmanuel Macron. I want a croissant, not a Macron. I want a delicious, flaky, buttery, soft, delicious pretzel with jam. I love jam. I'm thinking about trying to take my stand-up kind of like Trump comedy with my little hands. I'd love to take it to some sort of comedy club.
You should do that. You'd be great. You should do that.
And then afterwards be like, okay, now let's break down all of the absurdity that is here.
And there's a lot to choose from.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because just breaking down the lack of logic is really fascinating to me. Like some of the comments that were coming in here earlier was like, it's not bullying, it's just facts. Okay, so if I call you the exact same things, does that make it a fact? By your logic, yes. Unless you're going to be an opportunistic 4-year-old and change the rules on me when I'm playing Monopoly with you when it's your turn. Like,
I don't understand. It's what? It's facts? Bullying? Oh my gosh. We have a fact problem. We're in a fact emergency situation in the US where I don't think people know what it means. And it's very frustrating because, you should know what facts are. I mean, that seems important.
when I insult you, it's a fact. When you insult me, it is discrimination.
Well, yeah, of course. Exactly.
When I insult you, you bow to me. When you insult me, I am demanding that you give me your house, your car, your keys, your bank account information.
Right. And you're clearly a DEI hire. Right?
When I insult you, it's me asserting my dominance because I am better than you. But when you insult me, you're crossing a line, and that is just unacceptable. That's unempathetic. That is un-okay.
Oh my gosh. True story though, man. Oh.
I truly don't know how to battle stupidity in this country. I truly don't know how to do it.
I think the first step is recognizing that you can't. I mean, you can't ever win against stupid because stupid doesn't make any sense. And in order to win, you have to have strategy and you have to go through the process. And so it's more like, what happens with the 3-year-old? And you just kind of protect yourself from the screaming. You make sure that they don't hurt themselves, and then you just let them go because there's no way to reason with them. They just need to say whatever it is that they need to say. And the problem, though, is when you're a full-grown adult doing that, is that you can cause a lot of harm. And that's a lot of what this administration is doing, is causing some harm. And we're going to have to clean it up later.
Did you ever watch, when you were saying that, did you ever watch Glee?
Yes, of course.
MAGA is a lot like Sue Sylvester.
Yes.
When all of a sudden she is just told something that she can't handle, and she just starts screaming. She just starts screaming and like breaking everything in sight.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Everyone's just
Exactly.
like, has everyone in the chat seen Glee? Um, Jane, no, what is it? Jane Lynch. Yeah, Jane Lynch plays Sue Sylvester, who is this cheerleading coach.
Oh, she's
That
amazing.
Yeah, she's a fantastic actress. The character is a disaster. Her name is Sue Sylvester, who's supposed to be a cheerleading coach, and she is the most like tough and obnoxious. Honestly, that she is very much kind of like MAGA. And throughout the series, a lot of people don't know how to deal with her. Actually, I didn't realize the similarities until now, because it's like it. Anyway, you all have to go and see it if you haven't.
I agree, though. I mean, it's really like it's her way or the highway, and everything is just in this tunnel vision that she has with a lot of aggression. That seems like very MAGA to me.
Wow, Will, I didn't even notice all of the. It just looks like you put lard in your hair today. All right, Will, I'm smelling cookies coming from the wafting cookie elves coming out of your hair. Like, she would say like, "I'm sorry, I can't." Oh God, what were some of her best insults? I would have to do a compilation of that.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, you should do that though, because that would be hilarious. Because her character was amazing.
yeah. Well, I think what I would do is I would just take that clip and then I would just write MAGA, and it's like all of a sudden it's just the screaming part of her
Yeah.
sound like that, and then all of a sudden like she picks up a computer and it's like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and it's like ah. Then she goes
Yeah.
to the lamp, and that's like the Federal Aviation Administration, like ah.
Exactly. Exactly. You just toss it out. Toss it into the backyard, who needs it?
Also, I just want to say, Attorney Di, I love your voice.
Oh, you're so sweet. Oh.
Does anyone else love Attorney Di's voice? I
Oh.
think what I love about it is you have a really, really good cadence. And I don't know if it's intentional or if it's just natural, but I love how you enunciate your words. I feel like
Oh.
I should do better at that. Thank you, C-Bar. You're so sweet.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I have I talk a lot. That's really it. It's a lot of practice.
Yeah, yeah. Does anyone else love Attorney Di's voice? Yeah, it's very calming. It really is.
Oh.
Yeah, you have one of those voices that immediately establishes trust and kinship, which I think is really, really cool. Also, I have to say, when Attorney Di does her lives, when she's reading everything through, she'll highlight and she'll. Do you do ASMR in any sort of way?
No. I don't. Should I?
I
Should I put that
find
on
that
my
your
list?
lives also tickle a little bit of ASMR, I think. And whether you realize it or not, it's the way that your beautiful nails, will just hit the paper.
Oh,
I'm not
really?
into ASMR, but I can pick up on it. Your nails will hit the paper, you'll highlight, and you're very clean, crisp, and poised and precise. And I think that also tickles an itch for people into ASMR when they're watching your live streams. And so you're tickling so many different parts of the brain. And I don't mean to be weird about it, but like.
Oh no, I'm writing this down. I'm writing it down.
You're like, Scott Johnson told me I tickled his brain.
That's right.
He said, coochie, coochie, coochie. Woo.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so like, and I was just watching your live one time, and I'm like, the nails are on point, the highlighting is on point, the voice just sounds so calming. And I wasn't even looking through some of the comments or anything like that, but that's just my observation. And that's only one data point, okay? Obviously, if I want to be Donald Trump, I could say, my data point, my experience, my life is 100% what is fact, what is true. But like, no, it's just my observation. I don't know if anyone else feels the same.
Well, I may need to do some research on this. And if it fails, I'm blaming you.
I am never to blame for anything. Listen, When I said DEI, I didn't mean diversity, equity, and inclusion. I meant Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated from Phineas and Ferb. I did not mean the DEI. I saw it on a balloon in that commercial, in that TV show, in that movie. Let me tell you. So when I say DEI, I meant Doofenshmirtz. I meant Doofenshmirtz. What is a Doofenshmirtz anyway? Is that a metaphor? Is that a medical condition? Oh, I have a Doofenshmirtz in my inner elbow. You know what's so funny? I actually noticed that when I was watching Phineas and Ferb the other day. Yes, I was watching Phineas and Ferb. And I saw DEI on a big balloon, and I'm like, oh, 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 they knew.
Yes, you got to meme that. Oh my gosh, Phineas and Ferb. That's such a happy place. I love that place.
Yeah, it's a good show. Honestly, Ashley Tisdale's voice is like my coming of age growing up. So
Oh,
like whenever I hear Ashley Tisdale's voice in anything, I'm immediately like taken back to good vibes and feelings of watching Disney Channel. So I was told to only watch Disney Channel because Cartoon Network was too inappropriate and raunchy.
too racy. Oh, I know. There were a few times when I came in and, some kiddos were watching it and I was like, what was that? But I don't know.
Cartoon Network is too mature. It's too inappropriate. I was like, oh, okay. Let me watch Disney Channel and be, I guess, more childish.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all fun stuff. It's all fun.
Yeah. I do. I want to respect your time. So if you have to get somewhere, I totally understand. I do want to get your views and opinion on one other thing, if I can.
Sure. Sure.
So a story that I haven't covered yet that I wanted to. I saw this in Mediaite. Hakeem Jeffries, who is the minority leader, the leader of the Democrat House, or the Democrats in the House, which is they do not have the majority right now. Hakeem Jeffries reportedly very frustrated with liberal groups pressuring Democratic leadership to do more to oppose Trump. And it says many activists in the party do not believe Jeffries' Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and other top Democrats are doing enough to try and stop Donald Trump. And apparently in a closed-door meeting, there were a lot of griping, angry, condemnation, all of that. And you have different groups like Indivisible and Move On and these more progressive groups that are like, hey, you need to do something. And Indivisible co-founder Leah Greenberg said Democrats should be prepared to vote in unison when Republicans inevitably fail to pass a bill in the House. And what's interesting is that Hakeem Jeffries then says that Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. It's their government. What leverage do we have? We're going to try to find bipartisan compromise. And in a full thing with the reporter, with a reporter, he said, what leverage do we have? I'm also confused about the leverage we allegedly have in the face of such an overwhelming mandate that was given to Republicans by the American people. And
Wow.
I just want to get I think Republicans have the same feelings here. What is your take on this?
Right, right. So, with Jeffries, he's like, you don't swing at every whatever. And I get it. I get it. You got to pick your battles. But the problem here with Jeffries, and I think a lot of leadership in the Democratic Party, is that they've got their sights down the road. They're like, oh, we can't do anything right now because we don't have enough votes. So they're looking down the road already at, the next election. Meanwhile, we're out here living day to day. And it's really frustrating because they need to take us with them step by step by step. If they're doing anything, they need to tell us so that we can have some hope and some way of looking at the future. Meanwhile, the other thing too is that they're sleeping on stuff like all of these appointees that are going through and being approved, like Marco Rubio had unanimous support. Like, what the age is that? Like, they're supposed to be holding the line and pushing back and being loud and annoying. And he's saying, well, I don't know what we can get done. Well, you know, you can annoy somebody, you can annoy the crap out of people. And I think that that's incredibly important right now. So for me, what's frustrating is they're like just sitting around with this master plan they're not sharing with anyone. And so we don't have any reason to believe or have faith that they are actually hearing us.
Yeah, I am 100% in agreement. And just going even further, like the fact, and I was looking at what people were saying on Blue Sky, and I don't know this person, but they were like, yeah, so a great example, and thank you, Michelle, I appreciate that. So here's a great example of how Dem's wordy messaging gets lost in translation, or maybe just sucks. Jeffrey's got a rambling question about leverage, and Dem's strategy was to say, Republicans run anything, we're not going to bail them out. And it's like, here's my response. How about we obstruct his agenda in every possible way? We'll hold up the nominees. We'll use every single ounce that we have to stop Donald Trump and his people trying to get rid of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, completely gut the FAA, doing all of these things, letting Elon Musk hack into the Treasury. Like, it's that easy. You just fight back with everything you have. Think of the American Revolution. Like, the colonists, when they were fighting back against England, they didn't have the adequate resources that England had, but they just were like, you know what, we're going to fight. We're just going to do it. We don't need everything. Right now, Democrats, they brought a pen to a gunfight. Meanwhile, people are being unalived because they can't get access to health care. Trans people are feeling super vulnerable because of the alienation. Women are having their rights taken away to govern their own bodies. Gay people are being preyed upon and told that they are somehow inferior. And people of color especially are being so demonized. Undocumented people are completely being demonized. And the Dems are like, oh, we can't do anything about it. Fight back! Do
Right.
something!
Exactly.
Do something! Like, I understand if you feel hopeless or like you can't do that, but let's also break down this right here. He says, oh, well, I'm confused about the leverage that we allegedly have. Pause. If it was the Republicans, if the Republicans were on the other side of it, they would be doing everything they can to hold up every nominee. They'd be doing everything they can to obstruct every single thing. Why is it that when Republicans are in power, they never want to try and reach bipartisan compromise with Democrats? When Democrats are in power, oh, we have to reach out to our Republican friends. I'll just say it right now. Democratic leadership is low key. They just want to be Republican light with more social, more like social inclusivity sort of kind of realm. That's really what it turns into, because if you are allowing this kind of stuff, you are complicit within injustice. So a lot of Republican leaders, or a lot of Democratic leadership, whether they actually truly realize it, are very much aiding and abetting Donald Trump as well. And like, we need a real opposition party if we're going to stop this. And this is why people don't vote for Democrats. They don't go far enough. And like, I get that I'm one of these people that's like, mitigate harm, do what you can. We need to at least soften the blow. But like, there's so many people that are like, screw that, I'm not going to do it. And I get it. I disagree, but I get it. So it's like, it's so exhausting because I used to work in political organizing. I worked for candidates that were on the phone with Hakeem Jeffries, and this is the kind of crap that I would deal with. And then, this is just my own little anecdote, they decided to only have me collect petition signatures for them to get on the ballot. And then after that all happened, as their field director, they decided to let me go before the election. I'm like,
oh my gosh.
I'm like, what? What? They were like, yeah, we need all these petition signatures to get on the ballot. They needed 1,000. We got 2,020, which was ironic. And like, all of a sudden, after I worked endlessly to get those, and it was only me, they wouldn't let me hire other organizers. And then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we're going to let you go. We're going to use your salary for digital ads. And they lost bad. And like, part of that was Hakeem Jeffries. So I have a personal animosity towards him for part of it. But
well,
like,
that's understandable. And I don't think people realize too how hard it is to actually get those signatures.
No, they don't.
It is not an easy thing to get that many signatures for anything, especially when you're going door to door. So
Yeah.
that's really, oh, that's awful. We've got some problems. The Democratic Party has got some problems. The leadership is old, uh, also, I think, stuck in their Obama ways. And I think, this idea of bringing a pen to a gunfight is like a pen can be incredibly dangerous if you know how to use it, but they're not using it. And, we don't have to set up a militia, Revolutionary War style. We can be more like Home Alone. It's okay to drop a can of paint on them. And that's what I'm saying is like we need to be more annoying. And that's what we can do because if they're trying to like get out of the basement and there's too many marbles on the floor, it's going to take them some extra time. We're running out the clock here. That's got to be the goal.
I I I'm in love with you. Like, I love that analogy. That was so good. This is so clever. Oh my god. We need to home alone this mother. Like,
Yeah,
we as the Democrats need to be a Macaulay Culkin and defend our country, like our house. Because
that's
honestly,
right.
MAGA is a lot like those two thieves. Harry and God, what's their names? Harry and Marv. Oh yeah, MAGA is a lot like them. They're breaking into the house, trying to steal things, break things, like, and that is so true. Oh my god.
Well, yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be pretty and it doesn't have to be, like specified. You just have to make them, you got to make it so that the system's gummed up and they're frustrated. And, this is what works. These are the techniques that work. I think somebody put in there like granilla, granilla guerrilla tactics. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So again, Jeffries is like, well, you can't swing and at every single one, or we got to pick our battles. I'm like, well, yeah, then pick some. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's really frustrating. So, and if you look too at the big rallies that Kamala was having, there are people there. There's support for this. There are plenty of people that would back up this kind of work. It's like you got to just get them together
Yeah.
into a place where you are telling them, here's the plan, or at least here's a few steps. You don't have to put out the 5-year plan. How about just this month? What are we going to do?
I think that a lot of Democratic leadership are like, oh, well, things are going to get really bad in this country, and we don't really need to say or do anything to really fight back. We're just going to be okay, well, we're not destructive options, so they can vote for us.
Right, right.
And it's like, okay, how many people, how many people's lives are going to be completely upended economically and socially because of you deciding to be opportunistic and instead of fight for something, you're just like, I'm not bad, vote for me.
Right.
Like, and that's how a lot of people in this country feel. I understand why people don't want to vote for Democrats for that reason. They're like, they're not a real opposition party. All they do is they're just a seat warmer. And I get it. I would rather have a seat warmer though than a monster. I will take mediocre over monster any day. But at the end of the day, that's not filling that seat with someone that wants to do something that's really helpful. But at the same time, any person that is like walking up and being like, oh, they're both equally as bad. No, they're not. Take mediocre. Take the guy eating a sandwich that looks really, really bland sitting in that chair over a monster who's actively destroying the whole thing. Like, it's like,
Absolutely.
I get so
Absolutely.
frustrated with those people who do the equivalence of like, oh my god, both sides are equally bad. Oh my god. If I have to deal with those people, I swear I'm going to shrivel into a raisin. Like, it's just so obnoxious.
We're all going to be raisins by the end of this, I swear. I would say, too, a lot of people in Congress, a lot of the Dems, they need to get with these groups that are saying you're not doing enough. Like, go do some ride alongs with these groups. Go spend a couple of days with them. Because if you don't have enough motivation to actually get up off of your keister, go work with the people that are grassroots, putting in the time, working in the trenches so that you can get your fire lit again because by just hanging around and sitting and waiting for it to happen, I think they're too caught up in Congress itself. by saying, well, we don't have enough authority, we don't have enough power because the Republicans, blah, blah, blah. Like, why don't you get out on the streets and see what kind of power we actually have? And then come
Yes.
back and let's talk about it.
Yes, 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 yes. This is why I want to run for Congress. I think I'm really strongly considering doing that.
You
I mean,
should. I think, if you've got a little pep in your step and you're like, the world, we need to do something, go for it. Give it a try. It's always good to get out there. You don't have to wait to be asked, but put your hat in. Go forward. And if you lose a couple times, who cares? You're getting your name out there. That's great exposure. And most people lose their first or second race. It doesn't even matter. Or on the off chance that you win, whoo, that'd be great too. So absolutely, go forward. We need the younger generation, or at least a generation that has some energy. Like, I don't want to see Jeffrey. Don't get me wrong, Jeffries is fine, but at his age, he's like acting like he's 90 years old. And it's like, dude, have a Red Bull. Let's get her going here. And I think you'd be great in Congress, Scott. You do some good work.
I think so. It sounds probably conceited.
No,
I
not at
just,
all.
I'm just so tired of. I'm just so tired of the monster and the mediocre. Like, we need something way more robust. And the thing is, I like my congressperson, but do they go far enough? No. No. And like, the thing is, if I do decide to run, I'm gonna upset a lot of people because, my congressperson is well loved. I mean, but at the same time, like, I don't see really robust action being taken. Like, and I just I'm just tired of it. Like, I could try to run for other spots too, but like, I'm very attached to the city that my person represents, and I'm being so cryptic because I don't want people to know where I am. I'll
Oh,
tell you, I'm in North Carolina, but that's it. But
mhm.
like, it's just, I don't know.
You might want to start a little closer to home just to get your feet wet, get a little experience, get some more
Yeah,
information you could put on a pamphlet.
yeah,
But if you're close to the city and you're good with the people in the city, then go county, go a little bit further, go
right.
state. And it's okay if you've got people there that you enjoy. Go and talk to them and be like, hey, I'm thinking about running. What are your recommendations? And they're the ones that are going to know great positions that are open, that they're like, hey, we really need somebody here, here, and here. Or, I want to go to the next position up and, I need somebody I can come in and say, take my spot. So it's good to have that open communication with them. But I do recommend going local first, just because, again, if you don't have any experience, that helps a lot. But it sounds like you've got some experience going out there and campaigning, my friend. So I'm not sure you're going to need that local level. You may be able to just jump the line, actually. But wherever you want to go, just do it, man. Just do it.
Well, my so I live in a bigger city in North Carolina, so I guess that really narrows it down to only a few options. My state lawmaker, I don't think is going to be running again for re-election, so I have that in, and that would be a really really good option. I'm seeing a lot of people saying that in the chat that they are actually close to me. And I'm not going to reveal any details of where I am. I am in North Carolina, more centrally located. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm thinking about just running for state house, but I don't know. It's just
The thing is, when you run locally, when you come into a race that's closer to home as opposed to federally, that's where you can actually do the most change. Because
yeah,
once you're in Congress, once you're at that federal level, it's all about seniority. And when you're a first year rep, you've only got 2 years in there anyway. And then it's like, boom, you got to start working on the campaign stuff. You can't get a lot done, but if you're in the state house, you're kind of a bigger fish in a little pond, and you can actually make some of those changes that you're really wanting to do. So if you're wanting to go in and really be like, hey, we need to, get this sorted out and work on this, you're going to want to go state, local level. But if you want to, be in it for the long haul and work your way up seniority wise, that's when you can jump into Congress.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of validity to that, and that's something I'm really strongly considering. I think part of the real reason why I eventually would love to be a part of Congress is because I don't see the rhetoric of like the actual fighting back. I'm not even seeing an attempt. And whether we like to realize it or not, a lot of the reason why Donald Trump is so scarily successful, is because he just winds his way into getting what he wants.
Absolutely.
He uses media as his puppet. And I'm not suggesting in any sort of facet that I do the exact same kinds of things, but we need to find our own empathetic, critical thinking way of harnessing the same strengths that MAGA has done to seep into people's brains, to actually give them the agency to then be on board with our brand of that critical thinking, that empathy, not voting for just what benefits you, but for what benefits everyone. And for the squad, which people I admire, AOC is the person that has really taken up the mantle.
Yes.
Of being the one that is out there doing press conferences, out there setting the tone, the message, doing the town halls, being out there, while people who I greatly admire, like Ayanna Pressley, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, these are some of the people that are a lot more behind the scenes that do a lot of legislating. They're like, Ilhan Omar is on so many different committees. Rashida Tlaib introduces so much legislation along with Ayanna Pressley. And I feel like there's different roles that you can take up. I would want to take up more of an AOC style role of being the person that's out there setting the agenda, setting the tone, putting out that message. And I think I have a part of that with having a TikTok presence, which who knows where this is going to go. But that all being said, there's a lot of merit to what you're saying about starting out locally and then going from there. Which, is something that I'm greatly considering. So,
well, there's a lot of options, but the point, at that point when you're saying something needs to be done, that's that moment when you move forward.
yeah.
But with that, my friend, I will need to let you go. But thanks for having me. What a fun chat. I really appreciate you inviting me up.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for coming up here. For those people who do not follow Attorney Di, please do. Because Attorney Di is someone that is not a drama-seeking, provocative kind of content creator. She is educational and empathetic, but also puts a lot of work into her content. And before you go, this will be like literally 30 seconds or 45 seconds.
Okay.
I want to get your take on those people who do like the debate lives that are constantly being like provocative. Like, or I guess I don't even need, like, what do you think of those? Because you are not one of them, and I appreciate that so much about you.
I
do you think those are effective or can be effective?
I don't think so. I think they're performative, and I think that there is a place for that. I think sometimes people want to go and hear an argument or people fighting. I think that that's interesting, and there is some benefit to that, but you can't do it all the time. It should be like the spice on top of something rather than it being every day, all day, every day. So, I think it's interesting if you want to hang out for a little bit and be like, okay, there's some anger. I see that. Interesting. But you just can't stay in that mindset because then your stress and anxiety is going to be too much and you're not going to be able to really work through problems. And that's what I've seen when a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, the sky's falling all the time, you burn out and there's no way to come back to it. So I think there's a time and a place for it again, but I think it's more entertainment than actually moving forward on issues, in my opinion.
I am 100% in the same camp because there are a lot of people and it's a little bit lazy in my opinion.
Yes.
To do that. And the reason why I bring that up is Attorney Di is literally the opposite of that.
Oh.
She is someone that is educational, informative, makes it easier to understand, and gives the viewer their own discretion to think critically around what this means or what this means or what this is, and put it in context. And that's why I am such an advocate for creators like Attorney Di for that specific reason. Because we as Americans need to consume different live streams and different people that do other things instead of that. But that's just my little thing. So,
well, and I, a lot of people get frustrated with me because they want an answer. And what I try to do is give you questions to think about and find your own answer. And so, some people are like, why don't you just tell me yes or no? I'm like, I can't. You need to decide that. And that's what's missing, is that element.
I've had people come into my live stream and they'll say, okay, so what am I supposed to think about this? I'm like, I'm not telling you what to think or what not to think. Like, I'm just pointing out the actual facts here.
Exactly.
Is it too much that I'm giving you the tools to make your own creation?
Right. Exactly.
I feel like I can't help you. But anyway, I appreciate you so much. And
thank you.
I don't want to hold you up. Everyone, please make sure to go follow Attorney Di if you haven't.
Well, and take care, dude. I'll be keeping my eyes out for you.
Keep your eyes out. Keep your hands out. Keep your hair out. Keep your nose out. Keep your feet out. I love a feet. People tell me that feet are amazing. F-E-A-T. F-E-A-T. It is the feet that you are here. I love all of you.
Take care.
Bye. Seriously, Attorney Di is the best. Like, I don't want to make necessarily the comparison, but I feel like Attorney Di and I do very similar stuff. She tends to lean more into the legal language around reading through this indictment, what this means, and she's kind of like a law degree, just like she's a law professor on TikTok. And run for office, Scott, I'm greatly considering it. I really, really am. Part of the reason why I have an apprehension is because, number one, a huge asset to me if I were to run for Congress or run for State House here in North Carolina is that I have a huge platform that I can already fundraise. I can already update everyone. And if this app happens to go away, I would lose that huge benefit. And with everything being so up in the air, it's hard for me to know when is going to be the right time. Because if I'm going to do it, I want to do it right. So, but, I am 26. And I don't want people to be like, oh, you're just 26 and impatient. I mean, they're going to find something to get about me anyway. But I only want to do it when I feel ready. But at the same time, there are so many people that are in those positions of power who themselves have been there forever and are not qualified. And I think we need to have a different look around what we view as qualified and not, because people say, oh, you're 26, you're just 26. Yes, but I also have had a lot of experience growing up in this whole era. And there is an overrepresentation of older folk in government on both sides of the aisle, especially the Democratic Party. So why is it bad to have another younger person in there? It needs to be talked about, and I would represent all of my constituents, but specifically focusing on constituents that are in the most need. So if there is a lobbyist of, wealthy people that walks into my office, I'll be like, okay, you can have the chair for 5 minutes, but then I'm going to listen to the person who is desperate to then have their small business not shut down. I'm going to be giving them 15 to 20 minutes because it's about those priorities. And also, do you all know what a member of Congress makes? Actually, this is a good question. Do you all know the salary for a member of Congress? Just genuine question. Can you all put how much does a member of Congress make a year? Put it in the chat below. I have one guess. Y'all are all very, very close. It's 178 or 9,000 a year. Or 174. I apologize. No, it's 174,000. 174,000 a year. A year. Like, you do realize that becoming a congressperson is a short, is a train ride away from becoming a millionaire. And you don't have to do legislation plus benefits, plus benefits, plus benefits. And what's so interesting is, like, you don't need to make money off of your reelection. You don't need to do any insider trading. So, like, Congress people make a huge chunk of money. That's why they get so comfortable. They get so comfortable because they are themselves taken care of. Not counting bribery? Oh, yeah, not counting bribery. So, like, if I were to be a congressperson, something that I would do is I'm like, first off, I'm going to be banning insider trading. Because if we are in public service positions, we should not be trading on the stock market. We shouldn't. Like, that would be so wrong. Because insider trading, you're like, well, what is that? It just means that if, as a member of Congress, you are privy to private briefings of information about the market, about how things are going to go if a global pandemic comes. And, like, you are privy to that information before it is publicly known. And then you can decide to buy and sell stock in whichever industry when it is convenient for you to do that. It is a huge conflict of interest. I don't care if you're Nancy Pelosi or Marjorie Taylor Greene. It is a huge conflict of interest. You should not have, like, members of Congress focused on, oh, am I going to buy and sell my stock at this time? No! Serve your constituents. Serve your constituents. Like, it's so frustrating to me. And so that's like one piece. That's what I would immediately do. That's a piece of legislation I would put immediately forward. And, like, I am not the most technical person. I'm not going to know all of the specific legal jargon around what needs to happen here, needs to happen here. That's why I would hire very, very technically oriented people to be running my office. I'd listen to groups who have that kind of language of the bill already drafted, and then we'll just tweak it to being, correct for the moment. It's exhausting. It's we shouldn't have that. And to the credit of AOC, but also unfair, Matt Gaetz, can't stand Matt Gaetz, but he and AOC did a joint introduction of a bill to ban insider trading, and it went nowhere. But still, they did it. 2009, they held all three branches, but yet the GOP still found a way to stop them. Why not now? Yeah. Back in 2009, Democrats held the presidency, the Senate, and the House. And Republicans were doing everything they can to stop them. What makes this moment any different? It's because there are so many different Democrats that don't want to fight. They're complicit. They're like, oh, we're the lesser of two evils. You're going to vote for us in the next election. If you're not going to do anything, move the fuck out of the way. Seriously. If you're not going to do anything to actually fight back against this fascism and authoritarianism coming from Donald Trump, then get out of the way. Move. Get out the way. It's just, like, Dems play by the rules. They need to stop. Or they need to rewrite the rules so that they are not favoring unfairly certain groups. They just want to sit around and collect their paycheck. Yeah, there are so many different Democrats that will just sit on their hands and be like, we can't do anything. We can't do anything. Oh, Trump is given Elon Musk access to all the treasury. Oh, we can't do anything. Do something or get out of the way. Get out of the way. This is my country, and I don't want it to go. I don't want it to go get any worse from here. Like, how can I be against what Trump is doing? Trump is literally trying to take Canada away from Canadians. Why are you not against colonialism? Why are you somehow okay with our country possibly just invading our northern neighbor, our bestie that we've traded with for years? This is a guy who's allowed a billionaire, the richest man in the world, to have access to a lot of sensitive information. This is a guy who literally claims that people are poisoning the blood of this country, echoing Schmittler. Do you not see bigger pictures? He's not going to Canada. Do you see bigger pictures? He's not going to Canada. Bigger pictures? I love the people that are pointing at me. Do you think we counted it better off the way you were? If you're Canadian in here, are you taking what Donald Trump is saying seriously? Let's talk about that for a bit. Do we have any Canadians in here? I know that we do. Make yourself visible. I love all of you. My Canadian neighbors and friends. If you're Canadian in here, just type yes in the chat, or put in your favorite or put in your favorite emoji, or put a little Canada flag. Do I spy Hakeem Jeffries getting primaried? I would love to primary Hakeem Jeffries. There was, in fact, actually someone that I considered trying to work with that was planning on primarying Hakeem Jeffries. And her name was Queen Johnson. And I didn't really know. Her campaign was kind of like all over the place. I wonder if she's getting primaried. Like, if we're going to have Democratic leadership that just sits on their hands and let Donald Trump run with all of these unpopular things for America, then get out of the way. Get out of the way. People are losing access to healthcare because our government is complicit within injustice. Like, if you're a Democrat and you are just like, oh no, the FAA, oh no, the Treasury, oh no, like, do something. Fight. Say all you want without, say all you want about Pelosi, but she would be fighting. She would be fighting. Would be fighting. Doesn't the way that you phrase your sentence already prove that's incorrect? Like, I'm confused unless you're saying something I'm totally misinterpreting. Like, I want Pelosi to fight harder. Fight back. Are we great yet? Because I feel shame. Yeah. So, like, I'm confused. I know the person that commented that is a follower friend of mine. So, so I don't want to, like, be too harsh. Think I'm misinterpreting what you're saying. So, you all see in here how many Canadians are in here. We had so many different ones. I need to make sure to, I'm thankful not all our news in Canada is corrupt. Yeah. Let me make sure to follow back all the Canadians in here because I love all of you. And I'm so sorry that this country, like my country, is doing all of these things. I'm saying that when she was speaker, she was more effective than Jeffries. You know, I agree with that. I agree with that. You know, Beth, you bring up a good point. Like, that's a low bar to cross, but also you're not wrong. So, anyway, that all being said, Donald Trump is trying to bully his way into having Canada become the 51st state. Becoming the 51st state of the United States. Oh, Banner, Oliver, and Iris, good morning. Hello. And, this is just so ironic given, and I don't know if everyone was in here, when I started the live stream, Donald Trump posted this on his Truth Social yesterday. He said, "A bully is the weakest person. The weakest person." Is someone going to tell him? Y'all, please make sure to send some likes. I love all of you. I work hard to do this. Is someone going to tell him? Be like, aren't you exactly what you are supposedly condemning? I mean, Donald Trump, this is the exact same guy who has a whole, the only time I agree with him, he has a whole database, a whole Wikipedia page for all the nicknames that he calls people. And it's even broken up by certain groups. You have, hold on, let me do the hands. Crooked Joe, Sleepy Joe, Joe Hayden, Slow Joe. You have, in here, Ron DeSanctimonious, Rob DeSanctus, Ron DeSanctus, Meatball Ron, drizzle a little bit of tomato sauce, a little bit of Parmesan, and he's a meatball. Tiny D DeSantis. Why is your voice breaking so much? I don't know. Why are you trying to insult people over the internet? Is it to make you feel better about yourself? Go suck on a sponge. Go hug a cactus. Minding your own business is free. What? Can't even do that? Do you need a coupon? A buy one, get one free deal? Girl. So, the person that is claiming that bullies are weak people, it's real ironic. Real ironic when all of a sudden the bully is like, yeah, bullies are weak people. Is Donald Trump admitting that he's weak? Is he admitting that he's weak? Ooh, he's admitting he's weak. And again, he has more of these nicknames. Comrade Kamabla, Crazy Kamala, Laughing Kamala, Lion Kamala, Kamabla blah blah. Like, Fat Jerry, you have Wacky Omarosa, Governor Newscomb. Not only that, but he is someone that's like, Lion Ted Cruz, Little Marco, Low Energy Jeb, Crooked Hillary. This is the same person that claims that immigrants, people, are poisoning the blood of this country. Is absurdity the brand? Is it the point? The audacity, the gall, the gumption, and the nerve to then claim that, oh, bullies are weak people. Like, I'm from the South. That's like calling the pot calling the kettle black. You know, you ever heard that expression? Like, it is just, and yet a lot of like MAGA people are just like seals. They're like, like thinking that it makes sense. And this is the same guy, speaking of bullies, going back to Canada, this is the same guy that is trying to bully Canada into becoming a part of the United States. Why? So that his lover, his bestie, Elon Musk, can get access to all the rare earth minerals and oil. And let me just break all of this down. I put it in a post recently, and by the way, I'm being heavily suppressed here on this app. But when you break all of it down, Donald Trump is like, we lose $200 billion a year. We lose $200 billion a year with Canada. Why are we paying $200 billion a year? Essentially, essentially in a subsidy to Canada. We're not doing that as the United States. In fact, that is just the trade deficit. We as the United States will pay Canada for their resources, especially their oil, so that we can refine it here in the United States. And like right now, if you actually break down the economics, this is what we are seeing. You see that with Canada, our international trade in goods in deficit, like we have imports $364.9 billion, exports is $266.5 billion. That's a deficit of 98.4. That all being said, because we consume a lot in this country, like we do not have, we are not subsidizing Canada at the tune of $200 billion. That's not working. That's not how it works. That's just the trade deficit. Yet, he still is like, we're losing that money to Canada. We just need to swallow them up. He is saying that he wants to just take over a country because he wants the oil. How did that go? How did that go in Iraq and Afghanistan, huh? How did that go? How did that go? Weapons of mass destruction. That's what Melania calls my zhuzh. How did it go last time that we attempted to invade a country for their resources? And now we're about to do that, betraying our bestie trade partner, Canada. And I haven't even gotten to the fact that Canadians don't want this. Canadians, they are actually fighting back so aggressively. So aggressively. When you, like, if we break down, Canada's favorability towards the United States is plummeting. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. You also have, because of these comments, consumer behavior in Canada is completely changing to being way more focused at buying local products. So 84% of Canadians are now buying more Canadian-made products. 34% canceled a trip to the US. 32% have considered canceling streaming services. So Donald Trump's rhetoric about putting tariffs on Canada and taking over Canada is actually having a huge economic backlash. And Canadians are like, yeah, United States, we don't view you as highly. We're not going to trade with you. We're going to do everything we can to start crippling your economy. And low-key, as an American, totally support that. Mainly because the United States, you need to stop meddling. And when I say United States, I mean Donald Trump. Stop trying to take over Canada. Just because you don't like the fact that they have resources that you don't want to pay for. Leave them alone. Leave Canada alone. And stop putting out things like this. It's childish. You have so many different content creators that are Canadian. Buy American. Buy American. Canadians dropping made in USA products in the wake of Trump's tariff threats. This is just one. Canadian shoppers are no longer buying American products in grocery stores. There are video after video after video of people in Canadian and supermarkets in Canada. They're like, yeah, all the Canadian products now have a little maple, now have a maple leaf, their flag. And then all the US products are on like the lowest parts of the shelves. And like, I'm totally in support of that boycott. Yes, it hurts my country's economy. But when my country is hurting another country, how else are we going to give them a sign, you know? Like, Canadians are fighting back, saying like, yeah, America, we don't want to buy your products anymore if you're going to tariff us. So like, I am in full support. I'm in full support. I am so sorry, Canada, that my country might just invade yours because some of our leaders are greedy little money grubbers that just want to take your resources without your consent. Just completely invade your country because they are tired of paying you for resources. I'm sorry that they are so greedy and their robber barons are just wanting to completely dominate your country, not even asking if you want to join us. And like, you know, it's so funny. Trump is like, why wouldn't Canada want to become a part of the United States? Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they want to become a part? Hold on, let me. It's so funny. Like Trump's like, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they want to become a part of the United States? Why wouldn't they? Because Canadians deserve to go bankrupt over medical debt too. Canadians want to be a part of the gun violence epidemic here in America. Canadians want to be in lesser conditions than they are now. I have no words. I have no words. Like, I have no words. Also, I have a lot of new content. For those of you who don't know, I actually have a lot of new content that I've been posting on my page. And I do need to go here in a few minutes. But I want to quickly plug that all here. So if you go to my profile and you click on the link tree here, it will take you to my YouTube and my Instagram. And right now we are at 2,600 or so followers on YouTube. So I'm trying to beef up my YouTube. My ideal scenario is trying to shift more from TikTok, if it actually ends up going away, to my YouTube, as well as I'm really leaning into Clapper. I'm leaning into Blue Sky. Ideally, I want to lean into as many different apps as I can. I would love to stay here, but you know, but doing what I can. So I need to go here. I posted a lot of new content. Some of it is like the FAFO, the Trump voters that are like all of a sudden, oh, that's my kitty. Oh, look at my kitty. Look at kitty. So a lot of them are like the Trump voters who are now effing around and finding out about how Donald Trump is like, his actions are actually hurting them, you know? Glad I found you this morning. Oh, thank you, Beth. I'm glad that you're here. Let's be friends. But for those of you who are like, okay, what is this? So this is Ralph. This is my parents' new kitty. There's Ralph and Rosie. Isn't he the cutest little thing? Isn't he the most adorable thing? He is also a super smart cat, and he is one of the most active cats that I have ever met. He will run around for hours. He always tries to get in the garage when I leave. But yeah. Anyway, also, I want to point out that I'm actually named after a cat. So the name Scott comes, well, it's funny because I'm named Scott. My middle name is Davis. Last name is Johnson. And all of that represents my ancestry because Scott is Scottish. Johnson comes from Johnston, which is from the clan that I'm from in Scotland. And my middle name is for an ancestor that was Scottish. So it's like, that's funny. That all being said, I was also named after my dad's cat growing up, Scotty, who was a butterscotch orange tabby. So, but yeah. So I'm actually named after a cat. Anyway, maybe that's why people think that I'm so catty. Anyway, I need to go. Please go check out my YouTube. Please go check out a lot of my other content that I've been posting. I appreciate every single one of you. Shout out to all my amazing moderators in here. All my amazing moderators. I know that we had Half Pint Jenny this morning. We had Cam, Jenny, the other Jenny, amazing Jenny. Both Jennys are amazing. You had Akicha, the effulgent one, Kate, I love you, stop asking. Joanna Tech, I love all of you so much. Seriously, like, you all mean a lot to me. I want to make sure and give shout outs to everyone. Ooh, Irishman. Yay, Gunkles, Irishman. That's hot. Miranda Pierce, love you. Cindy, love ya. Who else was in here? Yvette, Denise, thank you for being here. Royal Witch, thank you for being here. The hair is herring today. Oh, it definitely is. Don't look too close. Beth, it was nice meeting you. Let's see. I want to make sure and give people shout outs before I leave. Miranda Pierce, appreciate you. If I repeat you, then just go with it. Oma, love you, Oma. Awesome. I love you all so much. Y'all are incredible. Silly, have a nice day. You too. Just remember, I'll have a great day. Thank you, Beth. You too. Just remember that you are beautiful. You are loved. You are valid. You are strong. And you are fierce. Don't let anyone or anything ever dim your shine. I love all of you so much. Bye. Oh, I love you, Ginger Monster.